The secret to a rich life is to have more beginnings than endings. Dave Wimble. By thanking and reciprocating, you enrich and protect yourself at the same time. Except for those who expressly tell us so. We never know wishes are something, and above all what they wish us. But you know what? It doesn't matter. Whether it's good or bad, whether it is relative, a friend, a stranger, you always give back through a short meditation of gratitude. Always be grateful for the wish that is made to you, even if you don't know it. And make sure you imagine as many people as possible in your mind, starting with your closest relatives and friends. And when the image is finished, you say, include all people that the images have excluded, whether they are from the past, present, or future, whether they are known or unknown. Include them all. Then take some deep breaths and imagine that you are in the center of a fountain whose jets form a wall around you. Exclaim 4 or 5 times, I wish all these people that before what they wish for me to happen, the same thing happened to them 10, 100, 1,000 times more than mine, and only then will it happen for me too, never before. This sort of brief but intense prayer has a dual function: to put us in a gratitude mode, which is positive energy because moved by noble intentions. The second function is to protect us from possible energy attacks, which unfortunately exist, and although they cannot destroy, they can slow down and hinder. But this boomerang prayer, as I call it, will give great joy to those who wish us good and great surprise to those who wish us bad, finding themselves having to experience the wished pains and in an increased way. Regardless of the purpose, it is still liberating and protective as well as energizing. Done every day before falling asleep, and as soon as you wake up, it will give you strength and resistance. Start by doing what is necessary, then what is possible, and suddenly you're doing the impossible. St. Francis of Assisi. The only guarantee for failure is to stop trying. John C. Maxwell. For some reason not too clear, it is supposed that manifestations, especially if they are quite important, take place after a particularly complicated and unknown period. It is a bit like the calm after the storm, almost a foretelling of the imminent arrival, the final rush. I repeat, it is not known why this happens. The only assumption that, in my opinion, has its own logic and seems very probable, is that during the energy adjustment and reconfiguration phase, we come across some old procedure to be reviewed or eliminated, to then obtain the final result. It can be compared to the home restoration. Before fixing, beautifying, something must be broken, and looking at broken, it looks worse than before, but it is a necessary condition for the final embellishment. Tom Hiddleston said, you never know what's around the corner. It could be everything, or it could be nothing. You keep putting one foot in front of the other, and then one day, you look back and you've climbed the mountain. It is therefore essential not to get discouraged when the situation seems to get worse instead of improving. Indeed, it is precisely at that moment that you need to have perseverance and keep pushing. If you stop instead, you risk throwing away your dream just a moment before its manifestation, making vain everything done until then. Thomas Edison said, many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up. Start moving in that direction. It is important that when you want to achieve one or more goals, you start moving in that direction with specific actions. It would be better to do things that relate directly to the goal, but in the absence of specific act, in simulated form is fine. Mahatma Gandhi said, "Whatever you do will be insignificant, but it is very important that you do it." It's important to invent something to put into action, to give the brain the signal of starting activity, and therefore the perception of reality. In this way, it understands that it is something to be brought to completion. Otherwise, it remains a desire to be fulfilled in the indefinite future. Henry Gibson said, "1,000 words will not leave so deep an impression as one did." It is very important to detail a desire to make it appear more and more realistic, but it is essential to carry out actions related to the desired goal, even if not super specific, as long as they can be traced back to it. This is because action establishes the moment. It is now and not who knows when. Edwin Abel Chapin said, "Every action of our lives touches on some chord that will vibrate in eternity." What we think can change, but what we do remains. It is therefore important to choose carefully what actions to take and how. The quality of the action and the emotion that we continuously bend to it give the start to realization process. They set the machine in motion that will then make everything manifest. Mother Teresa of Calcutta said, "It is not the magnitude of our actions, but the amount of love that is put into them that matters." However, we must necessarily take action. The more we postpone the action or actions to be taken, the more we postpone the fulfillment of any desire. If we do not start the car, we will never begin to move towards the destination. It doesn't matter the car model or the engine power. It doesn't even matter that it is able to make long journeys. The important thing is to leave and be able to cover the first kilometer. Walt Disney said, "The way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing." The great Napoleon Hill used to say, "Most of us go through life as failures because we are waiting for the time to be right, to start doing something worthwhile. Do not wait. The time will never be just right. Start where you stand and work with whatever tools you may have at your command, and better tools will be found as you go along." You have to try, experience. It doesn't have to be extraordinary things, especially at the beginning, but it has to be done. It is important to do by virtue of a desire and not hold back. If it is true that we will never see the right moment, it is also true that there is no wrong moment or reason not to. We don't know how and when, and so it could always be the right time. Romano Battaglia said, "It all starts in an instant, on one day of life, when you least expect it." It's never late or wrong to love yourself and try to be happy or accomplish something. Life has a limited time, but it has no borders. You can fail, but it is part of the game, and it's neither an end nor a shame, but a teaching and a growth. You can try again in a better way than the previous one. Henry Ford said, "Failure is the opportunity to begin again more intelligently." People and things come, go, come back, go away again, and it's almost never a coincidence. As much as we can avoid living our lives and our desires, we cannot avoid being deeply attracted to them. We will still bump into them, willy or nilly. We might as well choose and commit ourselves to reach some goal. And if the opportunity or the person slips away, there will always be another one. Antoine de Saint-Exupéry said, "There will always be another opportunity, another friend, another love, a new strength. For every end, there is always a new beginning." The only thing that will be constant is desire, whatever it is. We don't have to monitor the implementation time, perhaps setting deadlines which, if not respected, make us abandon the dream. When it comes to things that are important to us and that do not harm to anyone, we must always try to achieve and continue without getting discouraged, but at the most, adjusting our shot and not giving up. Jim Morrison said, "Never give up, because when you think it's all over, it's the moment where everything starts." Bye, and see you next.